Hi guys, it's Laser Tutorials, and today I'm going to be telling you the technique to get your aerial. First, you've got to make sure that you're all warmed up. If you want to check out some of my videos on stretching and follow along routines, you can go do that now before you start the video. Sorry for all the noise in the background. Basically, we're building a cabin in the back of our garden. We've got all the things delivered online and we're basically building it ourselves. So we've got this weird whacker thing and it's so noisy. So I'm really sorry for that. Yeah. Get around is actually your hurdle or your hop. So when you're preparing to go into your aerial, I don't really think it's that necessary that you do a big run up. I think you just need to do the correct hop or hurdle. Step, swish the leg through, my arms go up, and on my hurdle, hop, driving my body forward. So I'm not hopping directly up, I'm hopping but my body and top half is slightly leaning. So to practice getting the feel of it, do the preparation, driving your body forward, and then just go into a cartwheel, but when you go down, you're getting your chest as close to your leg as you can. So now we've worked on the preparation and just practiced the preparation, I'm now going to move on to the actual step-by-step technique. So in my opinion, there are 5 main things you need to keep in mind when you're doing your aerial. So the first thing is the preparation, which I've already talked about. Tip number 2 is to get your chest to your legs as soon as possible. Tip number 3, so whilst you're getting your chest towards your bottom leg, your other leg is swishing up into a kind of split position. because you're not using your hands, so you've got to make sure your leg gets round as fast as possible to replace where your hands would have went. Tip number 4 is to go up rather than out. A lot of people, when they're doing it, they travel it a lot, which means they're not getting the height, so they end up having to put their hands down before they land. Yeah, so you want to get as much height from that bottom leg and really push your leg into the ground and go up rather than out, because if you travel it, you won't have the height to have more time in the air. Also, travelling it is going to make it harder to get that leg underneath you when you land. And now, tip number 5, the last tip. When you're landing, you want to make sure you're landing on a bent leg, because if that leg's straight, you're going to end up with an injured ankle, and it does hurt a lot, which means if you haven't got it today, you might not even be able to try it the next day because you'll have hurt your ankle. So don't practice this way, but practice the good way. So this is the bad way to do it. I'm going to demonstrate it with a cartwheel. Well, in both of those demonstrations, I landed on a straight leg, and that can really injure your ankle, especially if you're landing when your body isn't quite round, because it means there's a lot of strain on that ankle, and it's really pushing that leg further than the ankle joints can actually go. And in the second one, when I landed, I travelled way too much, so my leg wasn't landing under my body. So if you're trying to do your aerial and you keep landing in a cartwheel and you notice your leg's really far out, you've got to really try and land with your leg right into your body. So you've got to switch that leg round and tuck it in. So now I'm going to show you the good way to do it. Now I'm going to apply that to my aerial. So if you're struggling to get your aerial, it's not always just a case of just don't put your hands down, because sometimes you're not getting the right technique to get you round. The main thing, I think, is get your body down to that leg and switch that other leg round. Don't worry about it, because you might not necessarily get it in one day, but if you do, that is great. Just really try and apply these 5 tips, as these are the things that really helped for me. So I used to have my aerial, but it wasn't consistent. So some days I'd be able to do it, and then some days I'd go and try and do it, and I'd be in the garden for hours until I would do one. Sometimes I just know that I could do it because I'd have enough height or something, or the technique just felt like I was doing it right, so I didn't have to put my hands down. But it wasn't consistent, and I never knew what that one thing was that I was doing right. But after trying one day in the garden, I realised these 5 tips are the things that work best for me, and they really help me to get round every time. And now I pretty much do it every time without fail, which is why I wanted to do this video, because there are a lot of tutorials and a lot of them are really similar, and I thought some of these tips are a little bit different. I just wanted to give you my take on it and what technique I use, because it really helps me, and I think if you're struggling with those techniques, if you try this, a different one might work for you as it did for me.